When Leonard Hofstadter was a little boy, his mother hid no eggs in his Easter egg hunt. None. Not one. She sent her son out into the yard to search for eggs that did not exist, and then she sat back with a notepad and timed how long he would keep looking before he gave up. She was not being cruel for the fun of it. She was a scientist. She was running an experiment, and the experiment was her son. Now hold that image, because I'm going to tell you it is not a metaphor for Leonard's life. It is the literal blueprint of it. A little boy, alone in a yard, searching and searching for proof of something that was never put there in the first place, while the person who was supposed to love him took notes. Welcome back to 4A. Get settled in, because today we are going to talk about the character this show called its heart, its everyman, the normal one you were supposed to relate to. And we are going to talk about why Leonard Hofstadter might just be the least important character in the entire series, and why that is so much sadder than it sounds. Now let me say the obvious thing first so we can get past it. On the surface, this looks like a hot take. Leonard, unimportant? He is the lead. He is the audience surrogate, your way into this whole world of weirdos. He gets the girl. He narrates huge chunks of the emotional story. So how can the main character be the least important one? Stay with me, because that contradiction is the whole point, and unraveling it is the saddest thing I have found in this entire show. Let me tell you where I am coming from. I have watched this series start to finish more times than I would admit out loud. And for years, Leonard was just the normal guy to me, the relatable one, the straight man. And then I started paying attention to what the show actually does with him versus what it pretends to do, and I could not unsee it, because Leonard is not the hero of this story. Leonard is the baseline the story uses to measure everyone else. So here is the lens. Here is the one idea I need you to hold for the next 15 minutes, because it explains his mother, it explains his friends, it explains his marriage, it explains everything. In any experiment, there is a control group. The control group is the part that gets nothing. No treatment, no special variable, no intervention. It just sits there, ordinary and untouched, so that the scientist has something to measure the interesting subjects against. And here is the cruel paradox of the control group. It is completely essential. You cannot run the experiment without it, and it is completely ignored. Nobody ever writes a paper about the control group. Nobody wins a prize for it. It exists to make everyone else legible, and then it disappears. Leonard Hofstadter was raised as the control group by his own mother, and then he spent his entire adult life as the control group of this show. Hold that, and let me walk you through it. Let me start where Leonard himself starts, because everything in him traces back to one woman. His mother, Beverly, a brilliant ice-cold neuroscientist and psychiatrist who, by her own cheerful admission, did not raise children. She ran studies on them. She and Leonard's father, she explains without a flicker of shame, only had sex to reproduce and to generate research subjects, and that is exactly what Leonard was. A subject. When he was potty training, she glued electrodes to his head to measure his brainwaves. There was that Easter egg hunt with no eggs. There were the essays she made him write on Christmas. There was the staged test after staged test. Love in that house was not given. It was a reward, dispensed for performance, and withheld the rest of the time as a baseline condition. And watch what that training turned him into as an adult. When Beverly finally comes to visit, Leonard makes her tea, brewing it to her exact finicky specifications, step by careful step, desperate to get it right. She takes one sip, says it is cold, and hands it back to him. So he starts over. No complaint, no anger. He just goes and quietly makes it again, because somewhere deep down, he is still the little boy who believes that if he can only perform the task perfectly enough, this time the love might finally come. It never does. It was never on the menu, but he keeps brewing the tea. And then there is the book, because Beverly Hofstadter did not just experiment on her son. She published it. She wrote an entire book about Leonard's childhood and titled it, and I am not making this up, The Disappointing Child. Every humiliation, every failure, every private moment of a little boy's life, written up and put on shelves. The potty training, the bedwetting, all of it. And in one of the most quietly brutal jokes the show ever made, Penny is assigned that book to read for a community college psychology class. Leonard's pain was not just ignored, it was course material. A grown man has to sit there while his girlfriend reads the textbook version of why he is broken. And it goes further than the book, all the way down into the smallest, most human ritual there is. Beverly never let Leonard celebrate his birthday. Not once. Her reasoning, which she states out loud as though it were the most logical thing in the world, is that his birth was her achievement, not his, so why should he be the one who gets a party? Think about what that does to a child. Every other kid gets one single day a year that belongs to them, one day that says, simply, "We are glad that you exist." Leonard never got that day, and the one time in his entire childhood that he believed his parents had fine. Ally thrown him a surprise party, he walked in to find that it was a funeral. His grandfather's funeral. He got the gathered family and the solemn cake and the decorations, and not one bit of it was for him. And to this very day, as a grown adult, Leonard does not receive a card on his birthday. He sends one. He mails his mother a card, with money tucked inside it, every single year, on the anniversary of his own birth, to thank her for the labor of having produced him. And here is a detail that I cannot get out of my head, because it tells you everything about what that childhood actually felt like. When Leonard was 10 years old, he built himself a hugging machine, a device with 2 radio-controlled arms, so that he could press a button and feel what it was like to be held. A 10-year-old engineered a substitute for human affection because the real thing was not available in his own home. And the saddest part, the detail that turns it from sad to devastating, is that his father used to borrow it. 2 people lived in that house so starved for warmth that they had to take turns being hugged by a robot. Now, every one of these is awful on its own. But here is the part that reveals the real shape of Leonard's life, the part that proves the control group theory. Because Beverly Hofstadter is not actually incapable of warmth, she is not cold to everyone. She just chose to be cold to him. And you know who she lights up around? Sheldon, her son's roommate. Beverly and Sheldon adore each other. They are intellectual soulmates, and over the seasons, you slowly learn just how far that goes. Sheldon knew about Leonard's parents getting divorced before Leonard did. Sheldon knew about the death of Leonard's uncle before Leonard did. Sheldon knew Leonard's childhood dog had been put down and was consulted on the decision before Leonard knew anything. Beverly flies across the country for Sheldon's birthday party. Sheldon attended her 60th birthday, an event Leonard did not even know was happening. Leonard's own mother has a closer, warmer, more honest relationship with the man who lives across the hall from her son than she has ever had with the son himself. The control group is so invisible that even the scientist who created him would rather spend time studying somebody else's variable. And if you have watched my videos on the Cooper family, this is the moment where 2 of these stories quietly touch. Because there is a scene where Sheldon, of all people, says he envies Leonard's childhood, the rigor of it, the experiments, the structure. And Leonard turns to him and says something I think about constantly. He tells Sheldon that Mary Cooper, Sheldon's own mother, was the better mother. She is warm, she is loving, and she does not glue electrodes to your head while you are potty training. Sit with that for a second. Leonard has met Mary Cooper. He knows that warm, flawed, religiously overbearing woman I have spent entire videos taking apart. And even her, with every single one of her flaws, Leonard would take in a heartbeat over his own mother. The 2 sons would trade in an instant. Sheldon wanted the cold scientist who would finally respect his mind. Leonard just wanted a mother who would hold him.
And neither boy ever got the one he actually needed.
And neither boy ever got the one he actually needed. And it is not just his mother. Look at the siblings. Leonard has a brother who is a tenured lay, a professor at Harvard, and a sister who, in one of the show's great throwaway lines, successfully grew a human pancreas inside a gibbon. Those are the results Beverly is proud of. Those are her published findings. And when someone tells her she must be very proud, she says, "Why, they are not my accomplishments." Leonard grew up as the disappointing baseline between 2 prize-winning experiments, the kid whose entire identity in the family was the one who did not turn out as well. So a child raised that way grows into a very particular kind of adult. And once you see it, the whole show rearranges. Watch where Leonard sits in every single relationship in his life. He is not the center of any of them. He is the supporting character in all of them. With Sheldon, he is the caretaker, the manager, the one who drives him and signs his agreements and absorbs his meltdowns and gives up his own life to keep the difficult genius comfortable, the same way I have shown you the whole family did with Sheldon. But Leonard is the one who volunteered for it, who built his adult life around being needed by a man who barely notices he is there. At work, a respected experimental physicist, he is told over and over by Sheldon that his entire field is inferior, that he is the lab equivalent of a glorified technician. And with the woman he loves, Leonard is forever the one who loves more, the one who said it first and waited years to hear it back, the one who always seemed to be auditioning to be chosen. And nowhere is that clearer than with Penny. From the very first episode, the running joke of the whole series is that Penny is out of Leonard's league, the beautiful girl next door and the insecure little physicist who could never really land her. And the show never once lets him forget it. Leonard is the one who says I love you first, and then waits, through a long and painful silence, to hear it come back. He proposes before she is ready. He gets drunk and nearly marries her in a Las Vegas chapel, which is exactly the kind of impulsive grab a man makes when he is terrified the real thing might slip away if he does not pin it down right now. And in his lowest, most insecure moment, on a research trip far out at sea, he kisses another woman. Not out of desire, out of that same bottomless fear that he was never quite enough, that he needed to test whether anyone else in the world would ever want him. He carried that guilt all the way to his own wedding day and nearly detonated the entire thing confessing it. Leonard did not sabotage his own happiness because he was a bad man. He did it because a boy who was raised as a disappointment cannot quite believe he is allowed to be happy, and some buried part of him keeps reaching out to break the good thing before someone else can take it away. And here is what makes all of it almost unbearable. Leonard is the reason any of these people are in a room together in the first place. He is the one who crossed the hall and talked to Penny. He is the one who pulled the women into the orbit of the men, who smooths the fights, who translates Sheldon to the world and the world back to Sheldon, who keeps the peace and keeps the whole group glued together. Without Leonard, there is no found family here at all. There is just one brilliant, impossible man alone in an apartment, and a few other lonely people scattered across a city who never, ever quite connect. Leonard built the thing. He is the foundation the entire show stands on. And a foundation is the part of a building you bury underground and pour the rest of the house on top of and never, ever look at again. And the show will not even grant him his own body with dignity. Leonard is a walking catalog of frailties played for laughs. The asthma, the inhaler he has to puff before any exertion, the lactose intolerance that turns every slice of pizza and every bowl of ice cream into a little comedy of suffering. He is short, and the series reminds you of it constantly. His own mother's very first joke about him, when Penny asks what he was like as a boy, is to correct her and say he was always little. Even physically, Leonard is rendered as the small, weak, breakable one, the body you measure the healthier men against, the control group, right down to the lungs. Now, I owe you the counter-argument, and it is a strong one. You are going to say, but Leonard won. Out of everyone on this show, Leonard got the most normal, most enviable life. He married Penny, the woman he was obsessed with from the very first episode. He has a stable career, a real marriage, a baby on the way. He is, by any objective measure, the success story of this group. And you are right. That is all true. But I need you to look at how Leonard holds his happy ending, because he holds it like a control group clutching a result it cannot quite believe it is allowed to keep. The insecurity never leaves him. The whole way through, even married, even loved, there is this quiet, permanent fear in him that he is the safe choice and not the real one, that the spotlight is on loan and somebody is going to come take it back. You do not get that from nowhere. You get it from a yard full of eggs that were never there. And the show itself never fully resolves whether Penny chose Leonard or simply settled for him. Wander into any corner of the fandom and you will find that exact argument still going years after the finale aired. Did she love him the way he loved her? Or did she finally land on the safe, kind, dependable man because the exciting ones kept breaking her heart? The series keeps it deliberately blurry, and that blurriness is its own quiet cruelty to Leonard, because it means that even in his single greatest victory, even married to the woman he had wanted since the day he moved in, the question mark never completely lifts. He spent the entire show trying to be chosen, and even standing at the finish line, the audience still is not entirely sure that he was. And here is the deepest cut of all, the thing that finally broke me about Leonard, because it is the control group theory completing itself. Even Leonard's happy ending, even the one moment of healing he gets from his mother, arrives secondhand. Because late in the show, Beverly Hofstadter finally has a change of heart. She decides she wants to try something new with her son, a new protocol she calls it, where she showers him with unconditional love. And on its face, that is the moment Leonard has been waiting for his entire life. The thing the little boy in the eggless yard was searching for. But look at how it arrived. Beverly did not get there by looking at Leonard and suddenly seeing a son worth loving for his own sake. She got there by studying Sheldon, by spending time around Sheldon's warm, loving mother, Mary Cooper, and running the comparison in her scientist's mind, and concluding, clinically, that a reward-based environment may have been suboptimal, that the other method might have produced a better result. Leonard finally received his mother's love as a hypothesis revision. The control group, after 40 years, got a little bit of treatment, not because anyone looked at it and cared, but because the data from a different subject suggested it might improve the outcome. Even his happiest moment was somebody else's experiment. So let me bring it all the way home, because this is what the least important character really means. Leonard is not unimportant because he does nothing. He is unimportant in the exact way a control group is unimportant, and the exact way a load-bearing wall is unimportant. He is the thing that holds the entire structure up, and the thing nobody ever looks at. Take Sheldon out of this show and you lose the engine, but the show survives because Leonard is there to anchor it. Take Leonard out, and the whole thing collapses, because there is no longer a normal human heart for any of it to beat around. He is the most necessary character in the series, and the least celebrated one at the same time, and those are not a contradiction. That is just what it is to be the baseline, to be essential and invisible in the same breath. And you can actually measure it. Count up the storylines. Sheldon gets the Nobel arc, the Amy arc, the endless parade of quirks the entire show is built around. Howard goes to space and loses his mother. Raj has his mutism and his long search for love. Penny has her dreams and her decline and her transformation. Even the recurring players get their big moments. And Leonard reacts to all of it. He is the one standing in the room when the interesting thing happens to somebody else. His big arc is Penny, and even that is really Penny's arc, with Leonard standing inside it as the steady thing she moves around. The writers needed one person stable enough to hold the camera level while the fascinating people whirled, and that person was always him. Stability is the least dramatic quality a character can possibly have. It is also the most necessary one. And that, right there, is the whole tragedy of Leonard Hofstadter compressed into a single sentence. So let us go back to where we started. Back to the little boy in the backyard, searching an empty lawn for eggs that his mother never hid, refusing to give up, certain that if he just looked hard enough he would finally find the thing that proved he mattered. That search never really ended. Leonard spent his whole life looking for proof that someone wanted him for himself, and not as a subject, not as a comparison, not as the safe and steady baseline that made everyone else's brilliance readable. The show called Leonard the heart of the group. And you know what? Maybe that is exactly right, in a way the writers never intended. Because the heart is the one organ you never see. You never think about it. You never thank it. It just beats, quietly, in the dark, holding everything else alive, completely taken for granted, right up until the moment it stops, and everything falls apart at once. Leonard Hofstadter held this entire world together, and he is the only character in it that you can only describe by telling me who he was standing next to. If you have been sitting here in 4A with me through all of this, and it landed somewhere a little tender, good. So tell me down in the comments. Is Leonard really the heart of this show, the necessary one holding it all up? Or is he the least important character, the baseline the writers used and never bothered to love? I read every single one of them. And if this one got to you, go watch the one I am putting up next, about Penny, the girl who walked into this building with a dream, and the tragic truth about what this show quietly did to her over 12 years. I will see you back in 4A.